Welcome everyone to jobskillshare.org. Today we will be making a video about virtualization, virtual or anything that you will come across about virtual environment. Now this video can be used by anyone. It could be good for an entry-level system administrator who is just getting into IT, or maybe a student who wants to know about virtual stuff. And this would be a perfect video for someone who is just going to interview, and then they are going to get these questions like, do you know anything about virtualization? Can you give us an example of what kind of technology have you used? vSphere, something like that. Proxmox, another good one. So vSphere, VMware is kind of like the leading one. So this is what you're gonna get. And just to give you guys an idea, a realistic idea, let's just go ahead and type ESXi over here and then search. I went to Indeed and I just searched it. Look at the titles that are just popping up right now. Windows System Administrator, and here experience with managing VMware ESXi right here, right? And then VMware Engineer. Even specifically, you can get a job into this too, just by learning, because it's a big thing. It's not just one day thing that you will just pick up and learn it. So you just need to work on it. But this is definitely gonna open your eyes and kind of like prepare yourself for these questions that you're gonna get if you're going to for these titles, and they're just normal system engineer, lead Windows administrator, software engineer, or even an IT support specialist kind of titles. They're a little bit second tier, or it could be, it could be just a normal entry-level positions too. So just go ahead and just look at these positions, open it, and just look at it, what they're asking. They're directly asking these questions. They're directly just by you installing something and working on it. This is what it is basically, right? So after this video, at least you'll have some kind of idea what are these terms and what are they talking about over here. These are the things that we kind of focus on when we do our trainings and stuff. We go to these basically these postings that are just real. That's what people are getting jobs. Once you get a job, once you start working on it hands-on, then you're working in that area. You have to learn it. So, you probably learn it better than any instructor because you're just working on it. But for you to get in, you need to learn these stuff hands-on, right? So that's kind of like I wanted to show you guys why I'm doing this video. So let's go back to our image right here. So basically, let's say for example, you just got hired and someone told you that what we're going to be using vSphere or ESXi, they could call it that too. We have one big host. This is a very small company. I'm just going to use a very small example here, and later I'm just going to expand it. But like for example, this is a very small company and they have like 5 machines right here, okay? And this manager told you that what we need is a domain controller. We want to centralize manage this, but we also bought a big Dell hardware, and it has like let's say for example 64 GB RAM in there. This is just small, right? So we're gonna keep it 64, and then there's like a lot of space, 2 TB or 5 or whatever, just let's call it 2 TB. And for simplicity, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just creating a domain controller. So this is a hardware right here, and in this hardware these are virtual machines, okay? This is what they call virtualization. It doesn't mean that everything is virtualized, you don't see it or anything like that. It's basically a hardware that's running on multiple other systems but in a virtualized environment. So it could have 2 NICs right here, and one line could come over here like this, right? And it will give all this network connections to these virtual machines, and one could be used for management for you. This is you right here, so you log into the system, and the other one is just logging for other things. But think about it, it's like one system is taking care of many systems. And back in the days, in the old days, you would have specific hardware for one machine right here, okay? So this, you will install the same stuff on this one big giant hardware, and then you'll have all of these, and so that's why it was kind of costly, and that's why they come with virtualization. So now one big hardware can take care of all of these other things like Windows servers, Linux servers, anything that you think that can be virtualized, you will see it over there. Even networking stuff too inside this, but that's kind of like detailed stuff. I just want to keep everything very simple at this point. So this is a domain controller. You can install it, and then they will connect to this domain controller here. So for a system administrator, it's extremely easy to manage these domain controllers then, because you can take a snapshot, you can just keep a copy of it, things like that. You know, if something goes down, you just in a few seconds you will have another one up and running. Imagine if you don't have this technology. If this goes down, this is domain controller, and you have actually one other backup, but you need to turn it on, plug it in, and do all the physical work, which kind of, you know, is pretty cool to know about this stuff. And that's something, trust me, at one point when you, let's say, become a system administrator and you go to companies, you're definitely going to see something like this. You know, I just turn it on. There's going to be a big host right here that will have like something like this, and they'll have domain controllers, servers, SQL servers, site servers, Linux servers, and all of these machines and applications, specific application, accounting is fine, and anything that you can think of, you will see a lot of things over here. So just think about your job, like, you know, this is what you're going to be doing. Most of the time you probably be working on this as like 50% of your time as a system administrator. Maybe you'll just come in, you know, sometimes you'll look at the summary, you think that, oh, you know what, this virtual machine is running out of space, I need to give it more space here. So you'll just go to configuration and change some space in there, give it a more space. Or maybe it's running out of RAM, so you'll say, oh, you know what, I have more RAM, I'm going to give it to this machine. And sometimes you might have issues with something, and so you will go to basically, like, you know, performance and things like that, say what's going on, it's like your host running correctly. You might be working on this stuff. So this is why it's important for you to learn about virtualization, especially VMware and vSphere ESXi, because this is what people are using out there right now. So what if you have this? What if you have this in your own home and you start playing around with it? You start playing around with these machines right here. You change the RAMs, you change the space, you give space, you take space out, and things like that. This is what you do daily, you know, because, you know, things could be running great. When things goes wrong, then you need to know how to recover it. You need to how to change memories and space, stuff like that. This is what they do all the time. Now, I'm not specifically saying everyone do this and they use this VMware, but they might be using something else like Proxmox or any other great technologies out there. But I'm just saying this is kind of a great way. And as you guys can see, the reality is that when you go do searching, you will see a lot of this for these titles. Okay, so enough of talking. Maybe you got the idea. If you didn't still get the idea, trust me, if you do a YouTube search about virtualization, you will see a lot of demonstrations and things like that. So I'm not gonna go and, you know, show a lot of images. What I'm definitely going to show you guys now is how to actually make it work and install it on your own system. Now, I will give you a nice warning. When you install this stuff on your machine, everything will be wiped off. So it's your responsibility to back up your system and things like that, and make sure that it's going to work before you even approach to this, what I'm doing next. So it's a warning right there. Other things that I want to discuss about is like the hardware that you want to use. I mean, you can get any computer out there. Like, for example, if I go back to this right here and do the summary, this is a pretty neat, this is a great machine right here. Like, this is a brand new machine. It's i7, and it's basically not a server. It's like a mini desktop, but you can see it's pretty. It has 16 gig of RAM in there, and things like that. You know, so you need to make sure that an SSD makes it really fast. So think about this stuff before you approach, because you might not have the system that can even take this. So if you have a system with like 2 gigs of RAM and a very low CPU, things like that, then this might not be a great idea. I mean, you can still play around with it, but it might not help a lot, because you won't be able to put any other systems, because even these systems inside this host will require all these RAMs right here. As you can see, it's already using this much, so I would need more to put more stuff in there. Okay, something to remember. Now, a lot of people won't use this on desktops unless you're just doing like for demo purposes, like, you know, you have like a powerful desktop like me, like here, and you can just play around with things. But a lot of people will be using servers, actually a real hardware made for host system like this. They'll call Dell, they'll call other companies, or they'll just do it, make it their own. They'll have multiple CPUs running in there, and then they'll have a lot of RAM in here, more than 64-bit, things like that, because that's how it's going to take all this, because this is why the main reason of this is to you have one giant host that is taking care of other systems inside that. So then that's why it's easy for you to manage, right? So enough of talking, let's go ahead and get started with how are we going to do this and how are we going to get to this point. Now I'm going to use another machine and you'll see another IP address. This is just a demo here. So we're going to create everything from scratch. So let's get started. Alright, the first thing you need to do is to type in your Google vSphere hypervisor 6.0 and you will click on this link. When you click on this link, what's going to happen, it will take you to, let's go ahead and click on it. So when you click on this, it will take you to do your login, and you need to log in. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do that. To my real camera, so you guys can see everything real. So what you want to do is when you log in, you need to account with VMware. So make sure you create that account, and this is free. So when you log in, after that link, you will see this right here, ISO image, and you need to download that. I already did the download, so you need to download that and read all these requirements. I will definitely use a 64-bit system if you're putting this on a real hardware, because that's where you're going to get a lot of benefit and use it. So download this and we're good. Let's go ahead. So once you do the download, make sure that you have the download. So I'm just going to quickly check it right here. This is a download that you will see right here. I already did that. The next thing you will need is basically a USB, because you can basically burn this to a DVD or CD. I don't know, probably, because I never use DVD and CDs anymore, so I don't know how that's going to work, but I use USB. All right, all the systems these days have USB boot, so you can do that. So for that, you need this tool right here. You need to go to Google, type unit boot in. You click on this first link, it will take you to this link. You'll click on download, and then what's going to happen is, let's go ahead and open the download. You'll see this right here. So once you download the Windows, I'm using Windows, and you will see this application will pop up. There you go. So I'm going to click yes. And what's going to happen after that is this. You click on disk image, and where's my USB? Let me show you guys my USB. So here's my USB, which is 4 GB. You can put 2 GB since it's not that big. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So I plugged in my USB, and as you guys can see right there that there's nothing in there. Actually, there's something in there. Sorry. I'll need to format it, because I need to format it and make sure it's totally empty. You keep this right here, FAT32 and 4096. Okay, quick format, click start, go ahead and format. It will delete everything in that USB, so make sure you back up whatever you have in there. Say okay, everything is good. Now go back to my application that I just downloaded, unit boot in. Click on disk image right here and go to browse and find the ISO. So I'm going to do that. So this is the ISO file. I'm going to click on that, and once everything is correct, you can just make sure this drive is correctly matching the top one right here. You don't want to put another drive. Alright, so go ahead and click OK on that. So what's going to happen right now, this VMware vSphere ESXi will be basically copied to this USB. We'll plug this into a real server, that real host that we were talking about, that real, like, the powerhouse. So we're gonna go ahead and start creating our first virtual host that will be taking care of everything, and you can use this for labs and things like that. So I'm going to show you guys how this is done step by step. If you get this message, just click yes to all, and that's it. What you want to do is exit, take the USB out, and let's go to the server and create our first VMware vSphere ESXi. I hate this name, ESXi. So you guys saw the image in that pane thing. This is what I was talking about. This is the real hardware, which has a lot of RAM, will be installed. Most cases you will have a lot of machines, or maybe 1, 2, 3 big machines like this, super, like, you know, they're like the super servers, what you call it. They'll have a lot of RAMs in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many RAMs, and their CPUs loaded, and this is going to be running your domain controllers, your SQL servers, and things like that. A lot of servers inside this server. That's what I meant. And this is where I have the USB right here that we just created, and we are going to turn this server into a virtualized host. So that's what we're going to do right now. Other thing that I want to make sure that it is getting internet connection. So you need to make sure that it's plugged in. So if you're using your desktop, you'll have one Ethernet. If you have a server, then it's plugged into that one right here. It's out. So I plugged it in there. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug in my USB and turn on the server. Whoops. Because I didn't plug it in the back. Okay. Alright guys, that was a fail. There you go. Alright, so our first server is on right now. We're going to go ahead and wait for our monitor. There you go. I'm gonna pick up my keyboard, and there you go. It says boot. To boot, click on F11. So we're gonna do that. Entering boot menu. Don't worry about this. You know I'm poor. If you guys donate more money, then I'll buy some good screens, you know. As you guys can see, this server has 16 GB RAM, so this is a good for testing, but like I said, in a real production environment, 16 GB will not do anything. You'll really need a lot. So you will get to this point right here. So you might be using a different system. Make sure you find where the USB boot is, like, you know. So you need to make sure that you find the boot. So my boot is right here, front disk USB. I'm gonna go ahead and click enter, and this will start my ESXi installation. So I'm going to click on the second one and click enter, and then it will do its installation right now. Now if you have a solid state drive SSD, this is going to be really fast. A lot of people prefer installing this stuff on a solid state drive because, you know, you want your this is your core, like this is everything that's running all other servers. So you would really want this server to be kind of like, you know, fast, and everything should be really good in there. While this is getting installed, I'm going to show you guys something just to give you guys a little bit more learning experience right here. That, you know, maybe you're working in small business environment or medium-sized business. So just think about it. Just to give you guys a little bit more image and picture in a real world, there could be a firewall will be configured, and then there will be a router, which is right here, which is going to be configured, and then these are your switches right here. That's going to basically go, like, each of these lines will go to a office, right? And they're connected over there, so they're getting their networking from there. But these clients, that it goes all the way down, say this is the client, then it needs to connect to a domain controller. Domain controller can be running on this guy right here. So back in the days, you'll have a different domain controllers, different server, and the big racks. So now this one guy can do everything, while the rest can be done by Cisco, any other networking. You can even eliminate that and run everything from here, but you'll still need a switch, right, to manage that and that kind of stuff. So that's why kind of showing this stuff makes a big difference when we do courses. It's almost done. Alright, so then you're going to get this message, say welcome to the VMware ESXi installation. Click on continue. You're going to read this and accept this F11, and scanning for available devices. This may take a few seconds, and then it will detect what type of storage you have. I have 2 hard disks. As you guys can see, it's pretty small. I'm gonna pick the first one, click continue. So it will delete everything from that. So now if you're using this from your, like, you know, on desktop, make sure this is going to delete everything. So right here, upgrade ESXi reserve, install ESXi reserve, VMS data, overwrite data. So the select storage and installation. So basically you can do upgrade here, or you can just do install overwrite VMFS data store. So if something was already there, it will install everything from scratch. I'm going to pick this one. So mine is saying upgrade because I think I messed up with the selection. You might not say this if you don't have ESXi installed on that machine first. So I think I did the upgrade option, so that's fine. Basically, we'll be saying like installation, and then it goes up the way. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and reboot. The server will shut down, and when this starts again, you should get an IP address, and that's where you will start your stuff. And this is what we were doing before. When we started this video, we went to one host, and we were doing something. This is exactly what happens. Someone install this VMware ESXi on a server like this, and then they have an IP address, and from their office they just do management from there on. You really don't do anything else unless you have to upgrade RAM on these servers, or change the NIC power settings, things like that, hardware stuff. Other than that, they just lay down like that in their rooms, and you do the work from your computer. Now this time, notice that I did not change the boot settings. I left it because I wanted to start from the hard disk. Alright everyone, welcome back to this video. I'm sorry, my phone actually died. I was making a video on that and it just died. No battery. So what happened after that, when I did the restart, I just got an IP address, and it was a DHCP IP address. Now I haven't changed anything on that server. I'm just using a DHCP because I just wanted to play around with it first, and it's not a full course on VMware ESXi, just to show you guys what virtualization is. So I'm not changing anything right now. So I just grabbed that IP address, went to a different machine on my network, and just plug it in, and then I get this message. And this is what people would do. They would download the client, which I already did that. You'll click on that. I'm just gonna click on open it to show you guys. So one thing that you guys didn't notice when I was doing an upgrade, you might get the username and password section. So you need to give your password. The username is root, and the password, whatever you guys, when you was installing that, you should have gotten that message, and then you'll put that password in there. And when you put that password in there, it will basically give you this message, and then just click on ignore this. Since I did an upgrade, I might see some things in there, but let's see. So basically it will say connecting, and then at the end you'll see a big nice VMware vSphere ESXi. And I'm kind of saying these names again and again because, like I said, it you might be basically working on this stuff, and real job you're just working on. As you guys can see, I did an upgrade, and it kept all my systems and stuff like that. I should have just kind of left more. I wasn't active, so I didn't click the right option, I guess. But it's fine. If you did the full installation from scratch, you'll see nothing in here. And so and it's a good thing, because then I have to show you guys how to actually learn vSphere. I mean, this was a video to show you guys what virtualization is. By now you should have a good idea of why people say these names, and why do you need to know this. And now you need to actually learn this, like this stuff that you need to work on. Remember in the beginning when we went there and we looked for some type of job, and there was actually a job right here, VMware engineer. This is where you would need to know this. You would need to be really good at this to get that job. And trust me, there's a lot of money in it. So this is what we're going to do. Hopefully you guys like this video, and hopefully this change some thinking. If you're brand new to virtualization, hopefully this give you an idea. And I would like to do a course on this, but before that I would like to know how many people are interested from our learners, how many people would like to learn this stuff, like domain controllers in VMware environment, creating domain controllers, creating SQL servers, creating sites, running everything from here actually, basically, and then troubleshooting things and changing RAMs and storages and logs files and stuff like that. How many people would like to know this course, hands-on course on vSphere, VMware, ESXi? You can call it virtualization, whatever we name it, but I would like to know in the comments, so please give me a comment. And also, remember a few days ago we were talking about an IP address that will give you access to everything, and this is what I was talking about. You will probably install a client like this, you will get a VPN access from me, and then you will get access to one of the IP address like this, and it will be 24 hours access, just 24 hours. I mean, in 24 hours you can learn a lot. When you know the videos and when you start putting your hands on, 24 hours can be enough, but that's gonna cost, it's gonna be very cheap, but definitely there's gonna be a cost, because as you guys can see, it's using a lot of resources and a lot of work behind it. So but if you don't want to pay, you can just buy your own stuff or just watch these videos. They're good enough. So thank you for watching this video, and let me know in the comments if you guys want to know more about this course.